What if the door you opened in your mind was one you could never close again? Imagine seeking a cure for your darkest demons in the roots of a sacred African shrub, only to find that the vision doesn't end when the drug wears off. You thought you were taking a trip to find yourself, but you've actually wandered into a dimension where time is a loop, and you are the only soul left to witness it. Welcome to Shadowland, a place where darkness breathes and silence speaks. Tonight, we follow a man seeking redemption in an underground clinic deep in the Pacific Northwest. He came for the Ibogaine, a powerful psychedelic capable of rewiring the brain, but he found a crack in the foundation of reality itself. Stay until the end if you want to know what happens when your consciousness decides it likes the other side better. The rain hammered against the skylight of a secluded cabin in the Olympic Peninsula inside. The air smelled of sage and damp earth. Miller sat on a thin mattress, his heart thumping against his ribs as the shaman, a man with tired eyes and a clinical demeanor, handed him the capsules. This isn't a vacation, Miller. The man warned. Ibogaine is a stern teacher. It will show you your life. Don't fight the tide. The floorboard started to hum, a low-frequency resonance that he felt in his teeth. Suddenly, the walls of the cabin didn't just move. They unzipped. Miller felt his physical body become an anchor, heavy and useless, as his mind was pulled into a vast obsidian hallway. This was the reset. He saw his memories projected on the walls like flickering 16-minute of form, his childhood, his failures, his regrets. He felt a wave of profound relief. It was working. The trauma was being processed. He felt lighter, as if the weight of decades was finally lifting for what felt like hours. He floated in this state of the pure analytic bliss. He was safe. He was healing. He was finally in control. He reached out to touch a memory of his father, but his hand passed through it. The film strip didn't just tear, it dissolved into black sand. The hallway began to stretch. The visions stopped being about his life and started being about nothing. He looked at his hands, but they were gone. He looked for the shaman, the cabin, the rain, but there was only a gray, static void that stretched for 1 billion miles in every direction. Miller tried to wake up. He tried to count his breaths, a grounding technique he'd practiced. 1, 2, 3. He reached 1,000, then 10,000. The static didn't break, the trip wasn't ending. He realized with a jolt of pure electricity that he couldn't feel his heart beating anymore because he didn't have a chest. He was a consciousness suspended in a dead dimension. In the corner of the void, a figure appeared. It looked like Miller, but its skin was the texture of the gray static, and its eyes were 2 infinite black holes. It walked toward them with a slow, agonizing deliberation. The dose has worn off, Miller, the entity said, its voice echoing from inside Miller's own thoughts. Your body in the cabin has been cold for 3 days, but here, we've only just begun the first second. The realization was a physical blow. He wasn't on a trip. He had stepped off the map entirely. The why was replaced by the terrifying how long? If you want to survive the next night in Shadowland, make sure to subscribe and leave a light on in the comments. It helps us find you in the dark. Sleep well. If you're sure you've actually woken up.